Alright, so this is my strut. It's on eBay coils. It's trash. So I'm going to pull these because I'm going to be getting ground control coilover sleeves, which are basically this but way more legit. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. So all we need to do, since I'm on eBay sleeves, is remove your tie rod. You got to separate your tie rod. But then you need a tie rod fork or like a puller to separate it unless you're lucky. Usually you need a puller. And you're going to need to disconnect your sway bar and the link right here. You could probably do it from the bottom. I think here it looks easier. I'm going to do it from there. I don't think I should have any problem with that. And then you're going to have to pop your hood. There's going to be 3 nuts up there. And 1 nut that actually goes on the cartridge. I'll show you that when we get to it. First I'm going to undo all this stuff, and you're going to need to undo your brake caliper, which is easy. The brake caliper is actually, it's really 4 bolts. It's 1 here, it's a 13, this is a 13, so 1 and 2, this 13 has this hose in the way, so it's hard to reach with the socket. So you want to use a wrench for this one. I haven't done them in a while. You actually need a 15mm as well. So you put a 15mm on this side to hold this still. Is my wrench too wide? I think my wrench is too wide. One sec. So my wrench was a bit too wide, but then I could get enough to start loosening the 13, and then that opened the space up. So you need a 15 on this side, a 13 on that side. Having a gear wrench makes this a lot easier. I can't really show you, but ratcheting like this makes it a lot faster. So I'd recommend getting these if you don't have them. They'll come in handy in a lot of other jobs too. So you're going to have to do this for both sides. I'll show you when I'm done. So you actually don't need to take those 19 mils because it's part of the strut. So once you get those 2 13s off, the caliper will pull. Put it down here, and you want to make sure you bag and tag this hardware. Driver side, brake, caliper, bolts, driver side, brake pads. Alright, I bagged and tagged this. Driver's side pads, driver's side caliper bolts, 13mm. You should probably get into the habit of doing this. It'll save you a lot of time and frustration later, especially if you're doing multiple sides and whatever. Alright, now I'm going to pull the tie rod bolt. I'll tell you what size it is. Alright, so it's a 17. PB Blaster will probably help if your stuff is old. This happens to be basically a new tie rod. It already looks kind of old, but it has a nice new shiny bolt. But it's a 17, yours might be hard to get off. PB Blaster that bitch. Alright, I got the 17 mil out. And I got this from Harbor Freight. So I'm just going to tell you now that it doesn't fit. Maybe if you took off this brake shield, it might fit. But for me it didn't fit. There's not enough space here. So I think this was like 15 bucks. Do not buy this. I'm saying do not buy this for an E30. Probably works on like everything else. But you know, E30s are too cool for that shit, you know what I'm saying? So I resorted to this, which actually I also bought at Harbor Freight, and this actually works. I labeled it as a pickle fork and tie rod remover. Basically, the tie rod is, imagine the tie rod's still in. Like this. The nut's off. You stick the fork in, it doesn't go that easily. You stick the fork in, you just pry on this super hard. Bang. Thing explodes out. It sucks because you're usually going to like destroy this boot. I'm not sure if that matters. I'm sure it's not good. Obviously it's not designed like that, but what are you going to do? So that's how you get the tie rod out. Now all I need to do is Need to disconnect this control arm bolt and the sway bar and links. And the bolt's up there, and it should just come right down, which is gonna be mint. So the control arm nut is an 18mm. You're gonna need an extension to reach it. Alright, I got that nut out, and I broke the control arm loose, but I still need to undo the sway bar link to get everything loose from the bottom. And the control arm should drop low enough where the strut will be able to be released from these threads, you know, because the control arm needs to drop for the strut to go above it, or for the threads to go below that, and then you can free it from the top and be all good. So to get the control arm out, I use the same tool, right over the boot, bang. Put a lot of force on it, just pops loose. Bag and tag that nut. Alright, so once you disconnect your sway bar end link, the control arm drops, the strut breaks free. I threaded the bolt and nut back through that. And now that the control arm's free, I'm just going to thread this back on. Trying to get this gross shit out. Whatever. Clean those threads later. Well, anyways, I need to go to work soon, so I'm gonna clean all these threads later. Might go new hardware, I don't know. Could be worth it. So now all I gotta do is take it out through the top, and then I'll actually show you how to reassemble them once I order my springs. But that's all you gotta do. Didn't take that long with the right tools. So yeah, let me just do the last part, and then that's bang bang. Alright, so once you disconnect your sway bar end link, the control arm drops, the strut breaks free. I threaded the bolt and nut back through that. And now that the control arm's free, I'm just going to thread this back on. Trying to get this gross shit out. Whatever. Clean those threads later. Well, anyways, I need to go to work soon, so I'm gonna clean all these threads later. Might go new hardware, I don't know. Could be worth it. So now all I gotta do is take it out through the top, and then I'll actually show you how to reassemble them once I order my springs. But that's all you gotta do. Didn't take that long with the right tools. So yeah, let me just do the last part, and then that's bang bang. So I was in a rush today. I filmed this video and I wasn't able to show you the last step, but the last step is just removing the 3 nuts on the strut tower. And then be careful when you pull the strut down, it's kind of heavy. You just slowly bring the strut down through the hole, lay it on the ground, and if you guys have like regular springs that are compressed, you're going to need a spring compressor to undo them. So make sure you do that. Mine is easy because my springs weren't under any load. So then just 3 nuts on top, take them out. If you're rebuilding your struts, you gotta spring compress them usually, or you can just undo that top nut, take the top hats off, pull them out, you're good. But so yeah, if you have a spring like that, definitely make sure you get a nice spring compressor. Look up a video for that, or look up a whatever, write up about it. Be safe. Thanks for watching. Peace.